Hello everyone, Mate Talk time. So good to be in front of you all. Very exciting. Hope you have an awesome drink. Mine naturally is my mate. In my International Mate Talk 2022 mate holder, actually all the winners for the mate holder should have received. You should be getting it this week. I think I've been tracking the process or the progress of the mate that was sent out to those winners. So I know that Hungary's already landed, and I think the others are not too far behind. So you guys can be enjoying your mate with your mate holder along with me. For those who weren't fortunate to win a prize, we'll do something else, I promise. We're gonna do something else in time. But for everyone else, hope you have a nice drink and enjoying this mate talk together. I'm gonna keep this really short. I'm gonna work to keep this under 10 minutes today. So I'm gonna fly through. On Sunday, I released a new XERJOFF video. I mentioned that XERJOFF as a brand has really sort of, I think it's exploded internationally. It's become super popular. A lot of people are curious to know about the brand. It was interesting about a year and a half ago when it was first released in Australia. I was in the masterclass for the inaugural release. And it was interesting that there were some people in that class where were saying things like, I'm not sure about these fragrances. I don't like their DNA. And I remember smelling them and I'm like, I think these are awesome. I actually felt that I was broken because there was a few people going, yes, I'm not so sure. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know, but I think these are like gangster fragrances. I think these are just like phenomenal. So it's good to see that not good to see, because I was gonna say, it's good to see that I wasn't wrong. No, it's good to see that this brand is really stepped forward. It is a luxury Italian brand. I mean, these fragrances are not cheap, but I honestly feel that everything about what Sergio Momo is doing is paying off. So there's so many beautiful attention to details with the perfumes that, yeah, it's really taken off within this fragrance community. So what I wanted to, some of the questions that were being asked of me, and actually I also want to point out, I apologize that I'm taking longer to respond to comments. Lately, normally I'm like, I was, comment boom and I'd respond very fast, whereas now I've got a bank up of comments and yeah, so anyway, look, there's been a lot of comments, and that's what I think the thing. And the other thing too is that I don't want to pass this off to some other member in my team. I actually want to be the one, and I don't know whether that's a good thing anyway, but I want to be the one responding. So I want you to know that you're talking to me. And so, yeah, rather than hand it off to someone else to, give you some comments, I want to be, let's keep it real, baby. No, I just want you to know it's me who's responding to these comments. So it's taken me a little bit longer, I apologize. One of the comments that kept coming through when it comes to all things XERJOFF was, and this is, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm new to niche perfumery, I'm new to XERJOFF. What would you recommend as my opening or my entry level fragrances? So today what I'd like to do is I'm gonna break these up into new users, developing users, I couldn't think of a name for the middle ground, and then veterans. All right, and so what I would like to do today is if you're new to niche, you're new to XERJOFF, not sure where to start, I would recommend here. Now, one thing I've realized that people who are new to niche, you're not new to perfume, you're just new to niche perfumery, but these individuals have been enjoying perfumes within designer. And one thing that happens within the designer field is that it's sort of relegated. This is men's fragrances, these are women fragrances, and the two shall not cross over. One thing that we talk about a lot in niche perfumery, and I'm a strong believer in this personally, and that is that perfume smell is genderless. If you, as a woman, like really leathery notes or woody notes, then just wear it. I mean, if that's what you enjoy, do it. If you're a man and you like more florals, rose and tuberose and things like that, just wear it, man. If that's what makes you feel happy, just do it. So fragrance is genderless. However, I do know that if you've come in from designers, you're still sort of thinking, what's a girl perfume, what's a boy perfume? So I would recommend, so these three here, I can, designate them, but just know this, I own all three of these, okay? So so it doesn't matter, you can wear these. If you're a guy, you like these particular notes, you can comfortably wear these. All right, so the first one is, if you're a boy, but again, girls can wear this, I would recommend Naxos. Naxos is, I feel, this is the starting block. This is like your entry ticket into, so there's a big gated area, XERJOFF banner. You know, the first thing you do when you walk through that gate is you have to buy your Naxos. XERJOFF's like, yes, dude, keep pushing the Naxos. No, but it's true. Naxos is one of those fragrances that you just can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. I'd like to share, and I have permission, by the way, to share this. So one of my subscribers, his name is Fred, Megasoid. I love his YouTube tagline. It sounds like, anyway, so Megasoid, he mentioned to me that he was wearing Naxos and he went into an antique store and he said that he was walking around it and all of a sudden, now I'm paraphrasing, I'm making stuff up here, Fred, so put in the comments if you want to add things, but he basically said that all of a sudden, the person who was behind the counter, a female, she's like, ooh, what are you wearing? So she made some sort of comment. He walked past, sillage, and she's like, oh my gosh, what was that? So what are you wearing? And so he's like, oh, it's Naxos. And you know, he was busy doing his thing. Anyway, he said that he kept looking around, and then she came out. And originally, her hair was in a bun, or tied up, and now she came out, and she had, you know, she was doing like those, I can't do it, I got no hair. But it was like Farrah Fawcett, you know, the hair was all, her hair was out and she was giving him the, I really like what you're wearing, young man, kind of vibe. And he wrote to me, he's like, man, Naxos, it's a vibing kind of fragrance. And the short answer is yes, I've worn Naxos and it projects beautifully. There is something very alluring about it. It's just a beautiful fragrance. And on a guy, I think it smells, there's honey notes, there's tobacco notes, has earthy components to it. It's a rock and roll fragrance and I'd strongly recommend it. So if you're a man, Naxos is where I would begin. If you're a woman, I would go to La Capitale. I own La Capitale, I wear it and I get a lot of compliments, but it is a bit more female leaning. I'm comfortable with that, I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, for a woman, comfortable. Opening notes of a strawberry and a peach, and then it dries down into musk, has a little bit of vanillas in there, very subtle, but just a beautiful central. Again, nice sillage on this, nice projection, longevity, and it's just a really, so I've mentioned this before, sometimes you find that fruity, like peach and strawberry notes can, if they're not done right, they can be too syrup smelling, they almost smell too artificial. You'll find that this is beautifully blended. That musk that comes through, it cuts it down, it gives it, and you need to try it. The La Capitale, beautiful fragrance for a woman. Now, in the middle, boy or girl can have, citruses tend to be this kind of fragrance that both men and women can wear these without any problems. And I would recommend to you Torino 21. This one here is spectacular. I spoke about it in the recent 7 XERJOFF lineup. And for me, after the video, I was wearing it the day after, 2 days after. Again, compliments. I walked into my daughter's house and she said, I don't know who's wearing what, but I'm smelling something divine. And I'm like, very cocky, and I'm like, it's me, I know it's me. She came up and she smelled, and yeah, it was me. The next day, she's like, what was that fragrance? So this fragrance is just amazing, really, really spectacular. Great summer fragrance, nice and sparkling. You can wear it in winter. Citruses work really well in winter. So there you have it. New people, if you're new to niche, new to XERJOFF, Naxos, boy leaning, La Capitale, girl leaning, or Torino 21, anybody can wear it. All right, the next one. Now, these are the developing. These are now, you've been in niche for a while, you've got a few different collections or different items in your collection. You may have 2 or 3 XERJOFFs. You need to get these, all right? These, I don't want any arguments from anybody. No arguments. You just need to go out and get these. Number 1 is you have to get Tony Iommi. I'll put him behind me. You have to get Tony Iommi. As a person who's deeper in niche, you'll now be able to appreciate the nuances in this fragrance. If you're new to niche, I don't recommend it. Start with Naxos, develop your nose, and come into it because Tony Iommi has so many different nuances. It dances around like crazy. And I find that someone who is now more evolved with their nose can detect all these nuances that are happening. But really no arguments. You just need to get Torino 20. You need to get Torino 21, but you do need to get Tony Iommi. Spectacular fragrance. The next one that I really recommend that you get is a hidden gem, in my opinion, within XERJOFF, and that is Starlight. Excuse me. This is another one where it's very complex, a lot of evolution in the fragrance. Uses the cardamom note, which can be very tricky with some people, but it does it so well. It is, I mentioned in the video that if angels could smell, or if angels do smell of something, they smell of Starlight. That's their signature scent. So really divine fragrance. Great for winter. I know the Northern Hemisphere is going into winter, so I strongly recommend this one. Now, veterans. I'm gonna say, so I've put down 4 because veterans tend to have, I had a comment from one subscriber in the XERJOFF who told me he had 430 something fragrances, 435. I'm like, my man. I mean, so so veterans, they get serious now. So I've put down 4, and I'm gonna say veterans, you may have you're probably ticking most of these. The first one that veterans need to have is Alexandria 2. That is, I once made the most bombastic claim, and that is that when I spray Alexandria 2, when I'm wearing it, I feel connected to the universe. My wife at the time, she's like, what are you talking about? I mean, what kind of comment is that? But I don't know, for me, I think what happened in my brain, that scene in Avatar where the tree is connected to everybody, so you can see all of a sudden this lifeline. I feel that Alexandria 2 connects me to the universe. I don't know, there's something that comes out of me. Those who've seen Donnie Darko, the thing comes out of their chest and this thing that moves around. Alexandria 2 does that for me. I feel connected to the universe. I don't know, it sounds like the stupidest thing to say, but that's how I feel. There's something just divine about Alexandria 2. This is for veterans only. Anyone new or developing, I wouldn't go there just yet. This is someone who's now their nose is well, because that oud in that fragrance can be a little bit, like whoa, and it's super complex. A lot of things happening, but just spectacular. Alexandria 2, veterans need to have. The other one is Richwood. I really love Richwood. I think Richwood is spectacular. That patchouli, you don't even realize the sandalwood. I mean, this is another fragrance where it's complex, just so beautifully divine, and there's opulence in it also. Anyway, so Richwood, if you haven't, veterans, if you don't have this one, I'd also recommend it to you. This next 2, so I'm gonna say most veterans probably have those 2. Excuse me for a minute. I'm trying to keep this to 10 minutes. The other one I would recommend is 400. So this is now a Join the Club. So I don't really know the notes, we're making speculations, but one thing that when I spray Join the Club, what I'm smelling is that it is just extremely divinely a floral fragrance. This is comfortably a very female leaning fragrance. There's a tuberose note, so that was a bit funny. I didn't realize that my camera had stopped recording. My card got full. As I was editing this last night, I realized that I was talking more, but I'm like, where's the rest of the footage? And then realized that the card said, dude, you hit your 10 minutes, we're out of here. Let me just finish really quickly. So 400, the thing that I love about that fragrance is that it's a very complex floral fragrance. It uses tuberose, as I mentioned. Sometimes tuberose can be very feminine leaning. Also, that has jasmine and orange blossoms. There's a lot of very soft, sort of white-ish florals in there. But for a man, I mean, for a woman, no problems at all. This is just a glorious, very warm profile, so it's great in cooler weather. For a guy, it's a really beautiful suit kind of fragrance. I love using it for formal meetings and things of that nature. So yeah, it's 400 for veterans, 400 great fragrance. The other one that I would recommend for veterans that I don't hear a lot of talk about is Zafiro. If you like, it's part of the, sorry, let me finish. If you like incense, you're gonna absolutely love this. It's part of the 1861 collection. The other 2 in the 1861, Naxos and Renaissance, get a lot of love. Zafiro is almost like the poor cousin. But yeah, have a look at this one here. Honeyed incense. Very soft, very subtle incense. It's not very strong. It is smoky, slightly spicy, but that honey in it, that honey note that goes through it, just really, really special. That's it, everyone. Now, before I move, because my 10 minutes is up, so I'm gonna finish off this quickly. A lot of my subscribers have been talking about, I always mix up his name, Terrance Hughes. I call him Terrance. Sorry. Terrance Hughes. I get a lot of comments about his fragrances. We don't have it here in Australia. Max, one of my subscribers, has been gracious enough to give me this sample box that he actually ordered. Now there's a lot of fragrances in here, and to the point where I don't know where to start. So what I'm gonna ask is for your help. Can you list those who are familiar with the Terrance Hughes fragrances? List 5 that I should look at. I'll then collate that, find out what are the top 5s that I'm gonna look at, and then I'll do a review. I'll do it here in Maté Talk, and I'll go into a little bit or a lot more details to what I'm thinking about the fragrance. I'll do some more research. I won't do a proper review on it because I always like to have the proper bottles. But why am I doing this? I'm gonna be, the intention is that next year, I will be, or early next year, I'm gonna be in Europe again. And so I do wanna hunt these down, and I do wanna include them in my collection. Boom. Now, that's it. The last thing is next week we're about to launch a new concept, and I'm pretty excited about, well, it's nothing revolutionary, you know, but it's a new concept for the channel, and I'll give you more details on that, but I'm pretty excited about it. It's, I'll talk to you about it next week because my 10 minutes is up. Thank you, everyone. My Maté is over. Maté Talk is over. I'll see you guys all on the next Maté Talk.